Thank you everybody for being here today. If you have any phones, please remember to turn them off or put them on silent. At Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Through this mission, each Toastmasters gains a clear understanding of the club's purpose, and the organization as a whole benefits from a shared set of values and goals. I have our thought and pledge this evening. During this holiday season, I'm always reflecting back on Thanksgiving especially, and it's a reminder for me to remember all the things we have to be grateful for. And one of the things that I have is to come here and have the opportunity to learn and grow and take on new responsibilities. So I wanted to just remind all of us to remember to keep that attitude of gratitude during this festive season. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll turn the time over to our president, Councilman Bud.
So wonderful to see all of your shining faces here this evening. We have Richard as a guest this evening, but I know he's been a guest before, so we won't call him out unless, of course, Richard, do you have anything you would like to share with us this evening? We will eliminate the need of why we are called the facilitators this evening, because I'm sure by now each and every one of you could memorize that by heart. And instead, we will go to a very big problem that we have. But I know there's always opportunity behind these problems. And that is, this room is unavailable on December 17th.
Oh, just that day? Just that day.
Just that day.
No, that's the.
How about that's the
That's
Wednesday?
How about the evening?
That's when it's not available.
The evening, okay. You said just that day.
Could we make it Thursday? Oh my, that's Thanksgiving or something.
She said we could make it any time, you know, but just happened to be that that's where they, the last minute
What do
decided.
you think, John?
Let's just invite ourselves to that.
What I think is I want to defer to the two, well, there's many geniuses in this club. I don't want to leave anybody out. But I saw Toni had her hand up first, and then we'll go to Julian second.
There's options. One option is to move the banquet to December 10th. We could still meet at a restaurant or do something on the 17th if we wanted to, or the new officers could have their planning meeting. We believe that Tuesday the 16th, Thursday the 18th, the room is available. If you don't mind, if people are available either of those days and don't mind the change and think you can remember to show up, we could look at that. We could completely postpone till January. So, and, continue to just have our meetings and have the first one a celebration. So,
And Toni, with all those options, which one makes your heart pitter-patter the most?
which one is better?
Stephen? Well, she's
Well,
pitter-pattering.
why don't we ask the group?
Yeah, but I still like to hear you.
Yeah,
I'll toss out the other idea, New Year's Eve.
we have a meeting New Year's Eve. What?
That's a Wednesday.
That's
So
a
when
Wednesday.
there was apparently a vote to
Oh.
have New Year's Eve, but hey. Different kind of party for it.
Okay, or the 24th.
Oh, yeah.
New Year's Eve isn't working for me either, so
No.
we're gonna have a pig out.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes,
we're-
Julian,
Well,
Kodo.
what I was
Pig
gonna
out with
be-
me, but
Real pig?
What I was gonna suggest.
Oh, hold on.
Wait. Julian's Kodo speaking.
What day it was?
What I was gonna suggest is, I know various times we've talked about having it at a house, and if you guys wanna have it at my house, that's fine. I mean, I can easily accommodate 50, 60 people.
Oh, yeah, that was the other option. I
So-
already offered that, I already told somebody we
That's
could go to your
fine,
house. Well, and the other option is to try to keep it on the 17th and find a place to have it. I checked one hotel, it's up in Lake Mary, I didn't get to this area of town. The room was available and they were gonna discount it for us because it wasn't reserved yet, but it was still $500. We could bring in food, I mean, the rest of the expenses would be ours. But anyway, that was just one place. There's plenty of restaurants around here that have back rooms for parties, but it would take some work to get that done.
Is getting it done on the 10th possible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that seems like, well, I mean, I'm not a dictator.
I agree with I would say the 10th would be the best option.
I think so too. At least that's my opinion.
It's still the comfort zone that we have here, the room is
Yeah.
here, everybody's familiar with
It's
the
on a
room.
Wednesday.
And if it's not on Wednesday, I'll forget about it.
Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Morgan?
that was the
When do
question.
they do their Thursday morning one?
I mean, it's,
The third week of the month, I think
I
it
think
is.
it's the
Okay.
all right, raise your
third.
hand.
Have it this-
Raise your hand if you can get behind the 10th.
Which is the 10th?
It's just a week early.
Oh,
The second Wednesday of December.
I mean, because Tony, you're the primary organizer, correct? Is that gonna be a problem?
No?
I mean, because it's gonna be great no matter what.
Yeah.
Whatever we
But
do.
trying to move it, I just think seems like a really bad idea with meetup and all that other. Well, that means we can't have our meeting on Wednesday, the 17th then either.
No.
No, that's why I suggested the new officers get together and have their planning. And just to jumpstart, or we can, hey, it's Hanukkah, come to my house. We'll light
Well, I mean,
some
gosh,
candles.
we should probably just get
Lisa
together.
get
So we should,
fish.
we probably should just get together somewhere
Game
that,
night.
yeah,
Let's-
yeah.
Got those crackers, somebody.
Guys will drive out to you, people never know.
All right, so do I have to call a vote for the 10th then?
Is there a motion?
No, I move. I move that such board facilitators have their banquet on December 10th here at Horizon Day.
Anybody second the motion?
Taking notes? Anybody's taking notes?
All right, well, the 10th it is.
No.
I didn't hear a vote
All
yet.
those in favor?
All those in favor say
Any
aye.
more discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor say nay.
Did we need to vote to close the meeting?
All right,
I will
Weird.
go to, I'm gonna go, if she asks me to, I'm gonna go tomorrow morning, I'm gonna come and see Beverly
Yeah.
and make sure that nothing pre-planned already, you know, but she doesn't think there's anything other than that, that will be that day.
And talk to her, please. This bothers me, that we haven't been in communication with her about the tablecloths and the wine
I will
spilling.
definitely,
We really want to be responsible here because they're doing us a humongous
I know,
favor to use the room, so communication is
I will
important.
definitely ask them.
And you might, since Michonne is now responsible for this, you know, keep her in the loop and let her know what you're doing so she can understand the responsibility for.
And I'll also ask about the air conditioning.
Yeah, let's get it all
We have
handled.
access, you know, to money.
And, you know, find out if they can put flowers on the table.
Big ballpark,
Flowers.
how many people do you think we may attract? I know it's impossible.
Well, here's the thing, and we do need to talk about this, Jonathan, thank you for the time. December, typically, we have a lower attendance at the meeting. However, if it's December 10th, it's not as close to Christmas as it normally is. Gail would like to fill the room up, my co-conspirator would like to fill the room up. You know, if we invite members, family members and their guests, and our special list of people, you know, we could fill the room, which is 60 or 70 people. So it depends on what kind of party we want to have.
Okay.
If we want to go all out, or if we want to, you know, we never intentionally kept it small, but we've had some fairly small
Well, what do we push it?
meetings in December. Yeah, when
December
we're,
banquets are usually a lot smaller.
when we're promoting it though, we can get people here. Now, I also did invite Nancy Cohn, our Lieutenant Governor, Marketing, to be our keynote speaker.
Nice.
Now, she confirmed for the 17th, so I'll have to check with her on her schedule.
I will call you
which is fine.
as soon as I find out.
Okay.
And also, we have around $1,060 right now, minus
Okay.
4 people have to pay for it,
Oh, I've got to use.
and I have to finish paying the remainder. I gotta get with you on that advertisement thing that we do, that he paid
Oh,
for,
the meetup?
the meetup.
Mark should just email you the receipt. Yeah, I'll take care of it and then bill you.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, as long as you can take care of it, I'll pay you.
No problem.
You bring up a good question too, now that we're changing the date, as far as how big do we want to have this? Because we've got very little time to invite and promote at this point. Mostly because of Thanksgiving next weekend. We are going to have an officer meeting tonight, is that correct?
Yes.
So, some planning can be done there, but it's going to come up very quickly.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
I've got 5 guests confirmed already, plus family members.
I have a few that I wanted to buy, but I didn't want to push it until we find out how much food or stuff are we going to be able to
Well,
bring.
let me take,
Oh, yeah, it's in 3 weeks.
let me get an idea of who's bringing guests and how many. So that'll
I
start
think
it
I
off.
can bring in
John?
about 5 guests, 5 to 6.
I've got 5 guests, and I don't know who will be here for my family just yet.
5
And
guests.
they're brand new people that have never been here.
It'll come
They're
from
new,
banquet?
yeah, they're new clients.
Okay. Would you rather invite them to a regular meeting? Or both? You'll do both. Micki, you gonna bring Toni? No? Gonna invite anybody? Anybody
Sean,
off the top of your head?
Alex.
Your husband, your mom, your coworkers?
Julian, will you be here?
On the 10th,
Yeah,
I will.
okay. You wanna bring family? Maybe?
Doubtful, but
One?
How about your mom?
maybe.
Okay, Gail?
I'd bring a couple,
Couple? Morgan's.
It's got by the
We don't
homeless
have kids yet,
shelter.
so.
Unless Richard wants to
Unless Richard
specifically request it,
specifically-
it's normally his mom's night. We might be able to shoehorn a few friends
Okay, I'll just.
But no plan.
Mark?
Maybe we can get Dr.
in. Maybe
Wayne.
1 or 2 at the most.
Okay, okay,
0.
okay, but you'll be here? You won't,
Not
not?
on the 10th?
Okay.
No guests.
And, but you'll be here. So everybody will be here except Jorge, which is pretty much our people that are attending. So 5, 10, 20, 22, 25. So we're at 26 already.
And that's without.
If you get Nancy, you're probably gonna get Scott.
My mother,
And then-
Yeah, if you invite Nancy,
Oh, and
Scott's
then Nancy.
probably gonna come. And
Nancy and Scott and
Tim Ricky will probably show up.
There's food and you'll have-
our area governor.
Yeah. Paul does
Yeah,
that.
Paul was planning.
Paul was planning to.
Okay.
And he'll
So
probably
that's-
bring his girl.
2, so that's 6 more.
Yeah, she
so we're
likes coming to
32.
Champion
32 is a
Fort
pretty
Facilitator.
good crowd. So, okay, thank you, that helps.
Do we have a theme?
Well, we didn't talk about it as a group yet. I have a theme.
Pre-workers stuff.
Passion, practice versus partying. Let's do it and bury it.
All right, very good. If you're in one of these roles tonight, I've got 2 of these over here at my station tonight, which is very exciting. Feel free to bring more leadership manuals. Any further announcements?
A little announcement, it's
Okay, little
actually a
Susan.
question.
I can't find my competent leadership manual. Did I hand it off to anyone and not get it back?
So if anyone finds it, let me know. Otherwise, I.
Did you look inside there?
No, I did not.
We'll look after. I think I sold one.
And I just have
Okay.
it in my hand.
I don't remember last time, but I think I saw one later on.
Alrighty.
We'll check.
Yes, Gail?
And I would just like everybody to stand up once more and applaud our contestants.
Y'all watch the videos by now?
You guys were so fun to watch and to be there.
All right, well, I'm ready for an exciting meeting tonight now. And a scary thought. What if God called you to give beyond your comfort level? Would you be afraid? Would you try to explain it away or dismiss it as impractical? In this process, would you miss out on a harvest opportunity for which God had explicitly prospered you in the first place. Andy Stanley, Fields of Gold. With this thought in mind, Micki joined our club 3 years ago, and now she feels comfortable enough to take on, she's our Toastmaster this evening, Micki D.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Micki. Hello. Thank you for coming. I have to say that after every meeting, I'm so enthusiastic and so ready, to go and do more and take on roles and stuff like that. By the following Wednesday, I'm like, why do I have to do this to myself every single week? Oh, well.
It's passion.
It's passion and good practice. It doesn't go well with my laziness, that's for sure. I sent you yesterday the agenda for tonight, but we have a small change. You'll see there, Toni G is going to be the second evaluator, and Mishan is going to be vote counter. This is the only difference from what I sent you by mail yesterday. And before we go to, what should I do? Should I ask for the roles now, or should I ask you to do the educational moment?
You're on.
You're the
in
Toastmaster.
control.
You're in
I
control.
Agenda says her, it's up to you if you want to follow the agenda.
Okay. Then we will have Gail talk to us tonight about elections, officers, positions, and so on.
Briefly, right?
5 minutes.
Yes, I do have 5 minutes to talk about a topic, 3 topics, but I'm going to narrow it down to 1 topic. First of all, I want to open up and thank you all for being here. We are in an exciting part of the year, yes. We are getting ready to change roles. We are ready to take on the challenge of the leadership track that Toastmasters presents before us. So before I get into the nitty-gritty and the meat, Ms. Shawn, how many executive committee members are there in our club?
6.
Close. Charlie?
7.
Great.
8.
I advised you I'd give it to Ms. Shawn. She was close. How many ex officio officers do we have? Mark,
How many what?
ex officio officers do we have?
4.
1.
1. Julio.
Point of order.
Julian.
Point of
We
order.
have 3,
Yeah.
because on our bylaws, both Jessica and Tim were listed as ex officio officers, essentially in perpetuity.
I
But we don't
stand,
get to elect them, of course, we don't elect the immediate past either.
I stand corrected. And that's a great point. I'm glad you mentioned it, because our bylaws, they fall under the auspice of international, but we have customized ours. So in that case, we have 2. Most other clubs probably don't have that. So thank you.
We have 3.
So with the 7 officers, I would like to start not with the least important, but with some of the roles where people don't think they have much significance. However, I beg to differ with you. Our Sergeant at Arms. According to our bylaws, the Sergeant at Arms is responsible for the club property management, meeting room preparation, hospitality. The Sergeant at Arms chairs the Social and Reception Committee. That is Toastmasters International. Again, in our club, we sort of go with the flow. But the main responsibilities of the Sergeant at Arms are to tend to the club property. Hence, we are fortunate to have this storeroom property is inventoried, ordered, and kept in stock. And then to coordinate the club meetings, which is absolutely important for the flow, for the start, and for the end of our meetings. Our treasurer, again, the bylaws read, the treasurer is responsible for club financial policies, procedures, and controls. Club treasurer receives and disperses, with the approval of the club, all club funds, pays to Toastmasters International all financial obligations of this club as they come due, and keeps an accurate account of all transactions. The club treasurer shall make financial reports to the club executive committee quarterly, and upon request shall transmit the accounts and all undistributed funds to the successor in the office at the end of the club treasurer's terms. So in addition to that, other responsibilities include to oversee the account. We had a report at the beginning of 1,060. The treasurer collects membership dues. Every 6 months, Toastmasters International has a calendar for our treasurer to collect, submit, and to get you guys armed. And you need a strong arm sometimes as your treasurer. How about the secretary? The secretary, again, seems like an invisible job, but is very, very important. Secretary, again, according to the bylaws, the club secretary is responsible for club records and correspondence. The club secretary has custody of the club's charter, constitution, bylaws, and all other records, documents of the club, keeps an accurate record of the meetings and activities of the club and of the club executive committee, maintains an accurate, complete roster of individual members of the club, including address and status of each member, and transmits the same to the successor in the office. The club secretary provides notices of meetings as required by the Constitution and immediately notifies World Headquarters of any change in the roster of individual members. Again, imperative that our secretary is a viable part of our executive committee. Without those records and without those files, we would not be as accurate as we are with our awards and all. All right, our Vice President of Public Relations. It's only a 3-sentence description, but it involves a lot. The Vice President of Public Relations is the 4th-ranking club officer and responsible for developing and directing a publicity program that informs individual members and general public about this club in Toastmasters International, and chairs the Public Relations Committee. In our club, fortunately, we have had an individual who has stepped up and assists the public relations and manages our assets, and that's Stephen. He has been the thrust behind our Facebook and the blogs, etc. That's all under public relations. Vice President of Membership. Vice President of Membership is the 3rd-ranking officer responsible for planning, organizing, and directing programs that ensure individual member retention and growth in club individual membership. Vice President of Membership chairs the membership committee. Vice President of Membership serves as one of the club's representatives on the area council and shall take no action binding upon this club without either specific prior authorization or subsequent ratification by the club. Big responsibility. In addition, as chairman, can pull together a committee, but is responsible for recruiting new members, conducting membership contests, assisting guests, processing membership applications. How about our Vice President of Education? Is our second ranking officer on the Executive Committee. When the President is absent, the Vice President of Education steps up to preside over meetings. In addition, the Vice President's responsibilities are numerous, and in my opinion, I think is one of the more time-managed challenges, as well as leadership challenges. Because our Vice President of Education coordinates our club schedule, which is circulating, assists with all the education awards that Toastmasters International has, as well as our individual club has, plans the speech contests, and manages our mentor program. And last, but certainly not least, but actually, yes, it is last, our President. Our President, yes, is the Chief Executive Officer and is responsible for fulfilling the mission of this club. The President presides at all meetings and the Executive Committee meetings, appoints all committees, and has general supervision of the operation of the club. The President shall be an ex officio member of all committees of the club except the club nominating committee, and shall serve as one of the club's representatives at the area and the district councils. In addition, presides over the meetings and leads the club to earn distinguished club recognition. Our elections are slated for December 3rd. The nominating committee has put together and is putting together a slate. When the 3rd comes, Jonathan as president will not be presiding because he is president. Rather, the chair will. The chair would step down and relinquish control of the elections if he, in this case she, is on that slate. So you will see a great election come the 3rd. Consider the challenge, stepping up, putting your name on the ballot. With that educational moment of 9 minutes, I return control over to
Okay, quick. I have a few quotes for you, just because nothing smart comes out of my mind, so I have to Google it. Before the fruits of prosperity can come, the storms of life need to first bring the required rains of testing, which mixes with the seeds of wisdom to produce a mature harvest. Lincoln Pass. Now, our functionaries tonight, Jorge Elias is our accountant. Could you tell us a few words about your role tonight?
In order to improve the quality of our speech, the accountant job is to make us aware of disruptive audible crutches such as and you know, and double crutches, which is the repetition of a word while the speaker searches for the next thought. I will also note sentences strung together with bridge words such as so, or like. I may sound the buzzer when I hear any of these infractions. Please note that this is not to cause embarrassment, but to get immediate feedback on an area that needs improvement. The fine for each infraction is 10 cents. Guests and members who have not given the icebreaker speech will not be fined or buzzed, but I will keep track of their infractions.
Thank you. Our grammarian tonight, Susan Morgan.
As a grammarian, I have 2 basic responsibilities. First is to provide the word of the day to my fellow Toastmasters and guests in order to expand their vocabulary. I have chosen the word of the day, which is festive. It means joyous or merry. If you have the opportunity to speak, please do your best to use the word. I will also keep track of those who use the word of the day. Those who do not use the word of the day will be fined 25 cents. Guests and members who have not yet given their icebreaker speech will not be fined. I will also listen for colorful imagery and the use of exceptional vocabulary and grammar, and will suggest improvements in grammar where needed.
Our supervisor of election, Michelle Acevedo.
As vote counter, I will pick up your ballots for best speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator, and most improved speaker. I will tally the results for award presentations at the end of the meeting. I will also pick up any comments you might have written for the speakers on any meeting participant and deliver the comments to the appropriate person. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And Linda, our timer tonight.
As a timer, I will be timing each segment of our meeting. All the speakers are 5 to 7, so I'll be using these festive lights to show 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and 7 minutes. And our table topics is the normal 1, 1.5, and 2, and evaluations 2, 2.5, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Our first speaker tonight is going to give a speech from Competent Communicator Manual, project number 3. The speech title is The Flower Garden. And I have to confess that I don't even know how to read his introduction. Something like, happy harvest, the flower garden, filled with roses, carnations, crepe myrtles, trees, weeds, bugs, birds, and the like. They really are like a snapshot of our life here on Earth. Here to share with you some stories from his own life on observations from the flower garden that will certainly help you reap a happy harvest in your life is our very own president and the best communicator called Jonathan David Dunn.
It was one of those days. Monday, November 10th, 2014. It was far from festive. This little device, also known as a phone, I'd gotten 10 rapid-fire phone calls from a client whose name is John. And I figured on the 10th call, it must be sort of urgent. So I stepped into my office, took out the phone, dialed his number, and all of a sudden, in just this mad rush of verbiage, John started screaming at me. It was very hard to make out what he was saying. John had an incredible amount of anxiety in his voice. And the gist of the story that John had shared with me is that his trainer, who he worked with, he was wanting to sever ties with. He was taking boxing lessons with him. And for whatever reason that I may never know, the trainer felt he had been disrespected and showed up at John's place of work, a little restaurant on Park Avenue called the Briar Patch. And as he's a boxing instructor, you probably have a pretty good idea of what he was there to do with John. My immediate three thoughts that came into my head. This can't be too good for business. What in the world is one of my team members doing, showing up, right or wrong, at someone's work, wanting to fight them? And for those of you who've been to my gym, Charlie has, I really care about everyone that goes there. And I don't ever want to see anybody upset. So here's what I did. Something I learned from Gail. I just let John's voice keep going and going and going and going till I felt it was starting to calm down and take a break. I never want to go to your gym again. Why is this crazy person, I can send you the 50 text messages he sent me and just blah, 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 blah. I've led an eventful life. So by this stage of the game, I realize somewhere in all this yelling, there has to be a silver lining. And incidentally, as he was talking, I basically came to the gist of John had been unreliable with showing up to his appointments. Scott probably was owed some money. This is probably a theme that has showed up in John's life over and over again. And I know we all have a story, so I figured, it was like a light bulb in my head, I'm going to share my story with John. Because John said he never wanted to come to my gym again, a place a week earlier he had loved. And I know as we start ruling places out in our lives, our paths become very narrow, and our lives become very small. I said, John, 1986, I was trying out for football, and I was laughed out of the locker room. So that whole side of the school, I tried to avoid it. 1989, I tried out for the tennis team. I got laughed off the tennis court. Didn't want to feel that pain. So I didn't go to that side of the school. On and on and on, I had a story like that, where my path had been narrowed and I had led a pretty small life, really. Of course, the universe, as we know, had different plans for me. And I noticed just this real calming voice coming back at me on the phone. He said, all right, you got my attention. It's pretty weird, the stuff you were saying, but you got my attention. And I said, John, would you be open to coming to my gym at the end of the week and talking about this? I'll take care of everything. And John said, yeah, I'd love to. We'll have lunch. And I said, I've got one special request for you before you come. I said, I want you to go to Lou Gardens. I want you to walk through the garden, take pictures of 10 things that you find of incredible beauty, and I want you to bring your camera with you. John has always thought of me as kind of a crazy fellow, but because I had a strong body of work with him, he decided, as strange as it was, he would do it. And plus I told him his girlfriend would like it, and he'd been having some, and all that yelling, problems with his girlfriend. So I was trying to really make it a beneficial trip for him. John shows up at my office on Friday. You sit down. I've got some food catered from Four Rivers, which he liked that as well. And he said, here's my camera, here's the pictures. What in the world is up with all the pictures? We scrolled through the pictures. I said, you find all these things beautiful, describe them to me. He goes, well, one thing was tall, one thing was short, one thing was fat. I said, so all the flowers that you thought were beautiful were different. He said, yeah, what's up with that? I said, did you notice any of the flowers had thorns on them? He goes, yeah, almost all the thorns were on there. I said, did you get poked by any thorns? He said, no, because I had stayed upon the little narrow path. And I said, would you agree, John, that if you had ventured off that path and kind of went through some of those thorns, there might have been a whole other area of that garden for you to see that you wouldn't have seen otherwise? And he goes, yeah. What's your point? And I said, well, it's really kind of like life. I said, I remember when I first came to Toastmasters, one lady wanted to kick me out of the club. Another guy told me I looked like an a-hole. Another guy, I don't even know what he thinks to this day, but we somehow seem to be friends. And I said, they all started just as rocky as Scott. And I thought about maybe never going back to that club, and thank God I did. He goes, well, what's your point? I said, you can't go around the path. You got to go through the path. You got to take every thorn that comes your way and realize it's a gift, a silver lining, and you got to yank it out. Otherwise, you're going to have a really small life. So now that you understand that, what do you say we sit down with Scott? He was your great friend 2 weeks ago. It's unfortunate what happened. He goes, you got my attention. But before I agree to this, what's up with all these flower pictures? I said, they're all different shapes, they're all different sizes, yet you found them all beautiful. And when you were in this garden of all these different things, you felt great inside. Fellow Toastmasters, like I told John, why can't we look at our fellow mankind like we look at a flower? Madam Toastmaster.
The kind of soil in your area determines the type of crop you plant to harvest. The kind of potentials in you will decide the type of success you will celebrate. Madam Tyler, can you give us a minute for our comments? Thank you. Our next speaker is working to complete project number 7 from Competent Communicator Manual. Research your topic. The goal is to collect information from numerous sources, carefully support the points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research. Please help me welcome our next speaker, Charlie Bombolier.
Color is all around us. You can't wake up and you can't go to sleep without seeing colors. Well, you could if you were dead. But being alive requires the use and the seeing of colors. What we don't realize sometimes is the impact that color has on us. It impacts us each and every day of our lives. The problem is that we're really not conscious of it many times. Have you ever gotten an uneasy feeling when you walk into a room with a certain color? Or other times you walk into another room and you feel relaxed? People call that mood. Well, it's the color of the mood. That is what surrounds us. Color, we know, is a vibration of light. In dim light, the color we see obviously will seem different than in a bright, sunshiny room. And everyone does not see the color frequency in exactly the same way. If I walk into a room and I call this room, this is a blue-green room, which to me is blue with a touch of green. Someone else may walk into the very same room and say, this is a green-blue room. They see more green than they do blue. Even a colorblind person is affected by color. Sir Isaac Newton used a prism in 1666 and saw the rainbow of colors that we know as the electromagnetic spectrum, showing that sunlight is not one color. The spectrum is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, the 7 basic colors. And the primary colors of light are red, green, and blue. Color can influence our emotions, our actions, and how we respond to various people, things, and ideas. When I was younger, something attracted me to yellow. I didn't know why it attracted me, but it always amused me, and it was like a magnet. Whether I saw a yellow balloon, or I still remember my mother in a yellow dress. I used to love to see her in a yellow dress. It was always yellow, yellow, yellow. Obviously, now I realize that yellow means happiness to me. It means festive times. It absolutely brightens my day anytime that I see yellow. To this day, every home that I have been in, I have made sure that it has a yellow room, without exception, whether it be an apartment or the homes that I own. So with that, let us explore what colors mean to us. I'll start obviously with mine, yellow. The color yellow. The shade of yellow determines the meaning. Pure, bright, sunny yellow is the easiest color to see. People who are blind to other colors can usually see yellow. Yellow is full of creative and intellectual energy. Always use yellow notepads. Yellow symbolizes wisdom. Yellow means joy and happiness. People in high intellect favor yellow. I missed that somewhere. Yellow is a symbol of unrequited love. Sunday's color is yellow. Put some yellow in your life when you want to clarity for decision making, relief for burnout, panic, nervousness, exhaustion, sharper memory and concentration skills, and especially protection from depression. Mashan likes red. Red is associated with fiery heat and warmth. It can also mean danger, burning. Red is the color of blood, and as such has strong symbolism as life and vitality. It brings focus to the essence of life. Put some red in your life when you want to increase enthusiasm and interest and more energy. Susan Morgan likes pink. Pink is a color of universal love. Pink is a quiet color. Lovers of beauty favor pink. A pink carnation means I will never forget you. Put some pink in your life when you want calm feelings to neutralize disorder, relaxations, acceptance, and contentment. Micki likes orange. Orange is a power color. It is one of the healing colors. It is said to increase the craving for food. It also stimulates enthusiasm and creativity. Putting some pink and orange in your life to spice things up when you feel time is dragging. To become more involved is something. The color blue. Jonathan Dunn, Gail Smith, Julian, and Jorge like blue. Blue is the coolest of colors. The color of the sky, ocean, sleep, twilight. The ancient Egyptians used lapis lazuli to represent heaven. Blue symbolizes the Virgin Mary. A pure blue is the color of inspiration, sincerity, and spirituality. Color black. Mark likes black. Black is the most misunderstood color. A black tie dinner is very formal and elegant. Women can wear that, must have little black dresses, but it also becomes inconspicuous. At the end of my speech, which will be in a few seconds, Michonne will pass out for you the meaning of colors in the Western Hemisphere and the non-Western. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Charlie. Can we have a minute to write down comments for Charlie's speech? Thank you. This is the longest minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It really is the longest minute of your life when you're shining up there, but I just forgot.
Also, can we have the timer's report, please?
Yes.
Really filled up the comment thing, I guess. John had 7.27 seconds so he qualified. That didn't come out right. And Charlie had 7 minutes and 48 seconds. Unfortunately, does not qualify.
Thank you. We need to vote tonight. Our next segment of the meeting is table topics. Julian Cotto has been a member of the Central Florida Facilitators for over 3 years. During his time, he has been harvested a plethora of friendships and speaking skills. He is ever grateful for this club and the positive impact it had on his life. Please help me welcome our table topics master tonight, Julian Cotto.
For a festive word of the day, we're not acting very festive. We're like, But now I'm going to get you people rocking and rolling tonight. Oh yeah, because the topic today is harvest. And in the fall, when the harvest happened, people got very thankful, especially if you had something to harvest. And of course, it didn't always happen. Sometimes the locusts came and ate all your crops. But as Jonathan says, you have to be thankful for that as well. So what have you experienced that is the most memorable harvest in your life, Miss Suzanne Morgan?
So everyone's not looking at my back, but I'd rather you look at my back. What is the most festive of
No, what is the harvest What is the greatest, the most memorable harvest?
Oh, the most
that you have
memorable harvest, that's
experienced in your
very
life?
easy. Mr. Table Topics Master and everyone, I am the mother of triplets. If that isn't a harvest, I don't know what to tell you, because I had 3 at the same time. That was a big harvest. Then a couple of years later, I harvested another one and had 4. Then a few years later, I married Stephen and got even another one. Woohoo, right there. My little baby. Anyways, the harvest would be my kids. They are the most wonderful things in the world to me, and I can't wait for them to get here for Christmas. And I already have one with me 50% of the time, which makes me extremely happy. And that would be all about my harvest.
Excellent.
My children.
You must have had lots of fun making that harvest.
That's why they call it making
Actually,
hay.
the doctor.
How do you harvest your time to accomplish all of your goals? Linda Earls.
My time management secret is having a big daily, a book that has every 15 minutes, a little slot for every 15 minutes. And it was very, very helpful when I got laid off to continue with this giant planner book and make a little line. What I did on the job was write down 2 hours on this project, and then I'd end that line and go on to the next project. Well, you can do that at home just as well. And you say you did 2 loads of laundry and you stopped here, and then you went to the post office and you just write down everything you did all day. And it gives you a sense of accomplishment, even though you're not working, and it makes you, if you get to the end of the day and you didn't put in any applications or otherwise move yourself towards employment, when you get down to the end of the day, you can't blame anybody but yourself. So your whole week is laid out there on the table in front of you. I put it right on the kitchen counter, so it's like, whoop, right in my face. And I do better the next day, and you do the things that will get you where you want to go, and it really helps out. I better watch my time, because, oh, I better stop. Thank you.
Now this one is a doozy, so pay attention. What advice can you offer John Donne to reap a harvest of intimate love? Toni did.
I love you guys.
Mr. Dunn needs to show his true self. He needs to not fear that people will not like him. He needs to be Jonathan, the cool, handsome, clever, creative, charming, sweet, attention-giving human being. If money is involved, he should show lots of it. Just put it right out there on the table. Women crave a man who will listen, as well as a man who has something to say. Women desire attention, positive attention. Because if we don't get it, we will make you give us attention in the most rotten, horrible, mean ways we can think of. So best, put your best foot forward and give as much positive attention as you feel the woman is responding to. Because too much attention, in my experience, does not work either. It is very smothering. So Jonathan, women are different. What may have worked with someone you were in love with 5 months ago may actually not entirely work with a woman that you're in love with now. So pay attention, because there are cues and clues. They're kind of hidden because we're not too specific. We like to hide things and make you figure things out. So pay attention on that next date with Jennifer or whoever it shall be, because she wants to be with you and know you for your true, authentic, charming self. Mr. Table Topic.
There's our relationship coach, Toni G.
Sign up for the 2.5-day seminar.
So how?
Sign up sheet right here.
How do you reap a harvest of good health, Gail Hill-Smith?
Mr. Table Topic Master, that is just like so easy. Harvest of good health. Take in lots of good breaths, good clean air. When you go shopping, avoid all of the middle aisles. Just shop on the perimeter for fresh, whole food. Don't get sucked into harvesting all of the chemicals and the GMOs and the additives and the hormones that are put in all those cardboard boxes. And in addition, to harvest even more health, to exercise. There's about a ratio of about 80-20, 20% exercise, 80% good lifestyle, good nutrition. You will benefit in years and years to come. What's the adage? The fellow who's 100 years old said, gee, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. Yeah. Be in the mindset to harvest health. Be festive and creative in your thoughts on how to do it. Get rid of bad juju, bad energy, and just make it work. Mr. Table.
So how do you reap a harvest of good looks? Mr. Lori?
Lori!
Mr. Table Topics Master, you know in the beginning of the movies where they say the names of the innocents have been changed? My name has been changed so many times, I will never be found guilty of anything for the rest of my life. One thing I have been found guilty of, though, is good looks. And I do that by making sure I get exactly 4.5 hours of sleep every night. By not eating breakfast when I get up and working 15 to 16 hours a day. Other than that, my tips are eating healthy, drinking lots of water, and surrounding myself with people who are older than I am. And if you were at the conference, you'll know what I'm talking about. So if you can just look better than those around you, you're a step ahead of the rest of us. I don't give in to all the late night commercials, the miracle creams, the anti-wrinkle creams, the blue vein removal creams. It's natural stuff, natural herbs, natural spices. Mr. Tabletop.
I can dig those natural herbs. And now for a timer's report. Madam Timer, please give us our timer.
Everybody qualified. Susan with best harvest, memorable harvest, 1 minute 14 seconds. Linda with Harvest of Time, 1 minute 22 seconds. Toni with Harvest of Love for Jonathan, 2 minutes 11 seconds. Gail with Harvest of Good Health with 1 minute and 39 seconds. And Mark, Harvest of Good Looks, 1 minute 6 seconds.
Thank you. Now, if each of you would vote for best table topics as I reintroduce our Toastmaster, the vote counter will go around and collect your votes.
Now I get to feel festive just because my role tonight, it is almost done. Just to read a few more words and I will be the happy Toastmaster of doing nothing else for the rest of this meeting. Our general evaluator tonight believes that a good harvest starts with the right kind of seeds. Then you have to watch over your seeds as they grow up. As they grow, you have to make sure you protect them from the bad things in life that want to hurt them. As they grow, they will need things, and you have to be there to give them the things they need. Your seeds will need water and love to grow up strong. As they grow, sometimes they will want things that they don't actually need. Seeds should have patience, and they need to understand that even though they just got their learner's permit, that doesn't mean you are going to rush out and buy them a new car. Mark believes that seeds can grow up big and strong and will still be part of a greatest harvest, even in a 2002 Chrysler town and country. Please help me welcome to the lectern, Mark Lapri.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I guess you're done for the evening now, right? Fellow Toastmasters, we've come to the evaluation portion of this meeting. Evaluations are one of the most important parts of the Toastmasters program. They are a means through which members improve their speaking and leadership skills. They also play a part in creating a positive environment the club needs for members to learn. Every member should know how to give a festive and effective evaluation. Good evaluations point out a speaker's strength and offer specific suggestions for improvement. Good evaluations are offered in a positive, supportive manner that helps the speaker maintain self-esteem. No evaluation should ever be harsh or negative or attack the speaker personally. We all strive to become better evaluators, and this is how we do it. Our next evaluator gives thanks for all of his evaluators during his 16 years in Toastmasters. Their suggestions helped him improve even when he disagreed. Their support encouraged him when he needed it most. Here to return the favor to Jonathan, please welcome Advanced Toastmaster Gold, Stephen Morgan.
Why can't we look at our fellow men the way we look at flowers? Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and of course Richard sitting out here. But most particularly Jonathan. You gave us that personal story with your own little flair and your own personality coming forth. And it's good to see you back up here speaking again, giving those speeches. I know you're a little bit rusty. Some of those thorns came through. We noticed a few of those, at least I did. For example, several more bridge words were coming forth than I normally hear from you. You seem to, I heard gist come out of your mouth twice, something I rarely hear at all, so having it twice stuck out for me. And in particular, when you said that you had 3 thoughts come to your mind, and I only heard 2. So obviously, there are many places you can improve, but there are some things here that you did beautifully, and those were the petals of the flower coming forward. In particular, those specifics that you managed to pepper in there for us For example, specifying Blue Gardens as a nice festive place for them to go to. And in particular, this one stood out because when you mentioned Four Rivers, my son started drooling next to me. Adding those details gave great color to this. Now there are a few things I'm going to put out there that are going to be a little bit more of interest. My question is going to be out for everyone. When does your speech begin? And I'm sure a few of you should have an answer for that. Anyone got one?
First word.
Introduction.
First noise.
The first moment the audience notices you. And what was my first notice of you? You were sitting over here pacing a little bit, and then you were hovering over Micki as she was giving the introduction. Seriously detracts from the impression you wanted to give. When you want to give the speech, the introduction is key, absolutely. But your manner and your demeanor, as you stand there where you can be seen, is very important because it's going to make that first impression. How important is the conclusion going to be? That's the thought they're going to leave with. And with the conclusion, it came a little bit more quickly than you could have, but let it hold. Let that pause hang. Don't say the conclusion and immediately hand it off. Let it hang there. Now what you did here was actually an exposition of neurolinguistic programming I would use in training it, in terms of how you were describing metaphors and similes with the flowers and the path, and how everything was just a way of looking at life, and how you can say the narrow path is what you want to avoid because you want to walk through the whole thing. All of those pieces, that story you put together, was a great example of how neurolinguistic programming is used to take those metaphors and similes and get a point across, not just in the story, but also at a lower level, which can become a wonderful transformational process. And the key part was that particular question when you simply said, would you agree? And that's a phrase right key in the middle of all of that. And I'd go into a lot more, but I don't have the time. I think I need to give a speech now. But certainly this was a great transformational speech for you as well as for the one you were doing it for. So well done and thank you very much. Mr. General Dyer.
Thank you, Stephen. Moving on to our second evaluation. Our next evaluator is consumed with the theme passion, practice, persistence, and partying. The first three P's originated from the international president of Toastmasters International. The final P originated from our own Gail Smith. Tonight, Toni G will practice at least 3 of the 4 P's as she evaluates the speech of Charlie Baudelaire. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Toni G.
Charlie Baudelaire provided us with a festive festival of color. Thank you, Charlie. A world of yellow, red, pink, orange, blue, and black. A world, however, where there was no purple, green, or fuchsia. Oh well, it didn't detract. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Charlie, your project was to research your topic. A question in the evaluation guide is, did you use numerous sources to research? I wrote, unknown. I don't believe you made all this up. I believe you thoroughly researched the topic. However, what was missing for me is where did this abundance of colorful information come from? We know some of the preferences for color came from our very own Susan Norman and Micki D. Preference for color. I like that you brought the members into the conversation. Another way you could have brought us in a little bit more was to find out exactly why they liked that color. Because I liked what you did at the beginning when you told us about yellow. You liked it because it made you feel happy and festive, and it brightened your day. Those are important things. We want to feel the color. We don't want to just know the words that are associated with the color. So I think that would have enhanced your speech, although I like that you did bring us in and you told a little personal story. And I'd love to see your yellow room sometime. A couple of things that would add some color to your presentation would be to clarify what your main point is. I'm not sure if it was just information that you researched about color. Did you want us to do something with this information? I mean, there's green right now, and yellow's coming. Should I pay attention to that? Am I gonna be happy when I see the yellow light? I don't think so. But what was your point? Because it asks, was the point clear, and did you substantiate it? I think it was more informative. That's what I got out of it. And you wanted to brighten our day a little bit. I want to point out something that I don't know if this bothers anyone else, but this bothers me. It's on and it's off. Hit some bifocals. I don't know, fix that because it's a lot. And it's slightly distracting. Other than that, you have a good presence. Even though you're behind the lectern, you know, you were very professional and you gave a nice presentation. And I like that a lot. You could have used a little more vocal variety. Blue, very calming. Red! We're on fire! And I see the red light! I want to tell you, Charlie, I loved your speech about color. Fix it up with a few references and a few more member comments. Madam, Mr. Lockery.
Pardon me while I add gender confusion. I wonder what kind of flower I would be. Thank you, Toni. As you can see, both of our evaluators tonight gave constructive feedback for the speakers. And I want to just touch on a couple things, but I wanted to wait till the evaluators get done. Charlie, I want you to note, I have a yellow notepad, which you said was the sign of intellect. I didn't write anything on it, but at least it's... Ed, I'm wearing black. And you said black was a misunderstood color. You nailed that one on the head. Thank you very much. Jonathan, I've often thought of you as a flower. Excellent speech. A lot of times I don't know where you're going with some of these speeches until you get there. But when you get there, I'm glad you got there. And I'm glad you took me with you. Now, some feedback about the meeting in general.
We could have timer on those evaluations.
Oh, yes, thank you. We get a timer report for our two evaluators.
We had 2 qualifying evaluators. Stephen at 3 minutes 27 seconds, Toni at 3 minutes 24 seconds.
Oh, I ended early.
Earlier than me, anyway.
Please make sure you vote for the best evaluator. And with that, we'll segue right into the functionary reports. So I'd like to first call on our grammarian for our grammarian report. Susan Morgan.
Interesting uses of the English language today. Micki, let's see, I can't read my own writing. Passion, it doesn't go with my laziness. I like that. And Googling your mind. That was good. Gail, you did the nitty gritty. Custody of bylaws and harvest health. I like that. John used just, as your evaluation said, I like that. You used it a couple times. I've led an eventful life, and then around the path. Go through the path? What? Something.
Yeah, go through the path.
Go through the path.
Not around it, yeah.
Not around it, go through it. That's right. Charlie, color is all around us. Color of mood. Color influences for the vitality of life. Julian, harvest of love. Toni, pay attention to your next date. And purple, green, and fuchsia wasn't in the mix. And then, of course, your Madam Mr. Lockery. And Mark, your name has been changed so often. And Stephen, the thorns came out and you peppered things along. Let's see, the word of the day. I had Micki, Gail, Linda, John, Charlie, Julian, Toni twice, Mark, and Stephen. And if the rest of you, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Did I miss you? Okay, sorry, Michonne. So give a quarter if you have not done it otherwise.
Thank you. Jorge, I'll counter results, please.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. It won't be very fancy for our bank. Everybody did good. I have Micki D with 1 1 double clutch, 2 like and sauce, 40 cents. Susan Morgan, 5 ahs and ams. Linda Earls, 1 double clutch, 2 bridge words, 30 cents. Jonathan Dunn, 1 double clutch, 1 bridge word, and I think Stephen found a few more when I was paying attention to the speech. Not too good, I guess. Charlie Bombalier, 1 ahs and ams, 1 double clutch, and 1 bridge word. Mr.
Okay, thank you. If you haven't done so already, also please vote for most improved Toastmaster. And our vote counter will get 2 votes. Couple things about the meeting in general. We go through this all the time. One of the things we do at Toastmasters is help us run an effective meeting. Our meeting did start on time. Unfortunately, by the time we reached the 4th item on our agenda, we were already 14 minutes behind schedule. However, one of the good things about our meeting is we have a couple things in here that we can adjust accordingly to make up the time difference. One of which was table topics. So by the time we got done with table topics, we were pretty much back on schedule. So good job recovering on that. I didn't see anybody leaving the lectern unavailable. Somebody was always up here. Sometimes even before the introduction was done, very good. Members were acknowledged accordingly. Micki D, kudos to you for getting the agenda out early, and then a revision when revisions needed to be made, and making sure we all had the updated agenda. A couple things that were pointed out. Again, our December banquet looks like it's going to be moved to December 10th. Good educational moment, Gail. I always like to learn things about the club. Every time somebody gets up and gives an educational moment, I learn something. That's good. Other than that, I don't have any more bad juju about this. So at this time, I will turn the lectern, I will relinquish control of the lectern back to our president, Jonathan John!
Your favorite flower, huh?
Great job tonight, especially you, Julian, for really coming up in air and ramping the energy up and observing that. Well done, sir. You constantly are a role model today.
Yes.
Before we launch into these awards this evening, are there any, as we went through a meeting, are there any other announcements that need to be made? Oh yes, gosh. Yes, Toni, go ahead. Please, pretty please.
The slate of officers is complete at a certain level. If you would like to run for office and you haven't contacted me or I haven't contacted you and you would like to be added to the list, you can still do so up until the meeting December 3rd. Currently, the slate is Charlie Bombalier, President, Micki D, Vice President of Education, Jonathan David Dunn for Vice President of Membership, Mark L for VPR, Gail for Treasurer, Toni for Secretary. Michonne, would you like to be the Sergeant of Arms? You've been nominated to continue, but I never talked with you about it.
Would that be for the entirety of
For January through the end of June.
June? I'm not sure.
You're not sure. We have an opening.
2020.
2020, 2015. You don't have to be here for every meeting, but if you need to check your schedule, do you think you can get back with us by December 3rd? In the next 2 weeks to decide? You might get nominated anyway. Okay, whatever. Let me just ask, is there anyone that would like to be put on the slate for Sergeant at Arms? Thank you very much.
All right, we've got some roll. Yeah, yes, Jorge?
I have an announcement. Festive and not festive. I wanted to tell Micki and everybody. As you all know, I was unemployed for a while. I got a job.
You are not moving! You are not moving!
The best thing is I'm moving to Cincinnati.
Oh, Jesus! Come on, they have 2 feet of snow. You are not moving to Cincinnati.
All right,
Start there in December.
you've done this before.
Now it's for
You start in December? December, did you say? 1st of December?
I'll visit you the
when I get new goats.
Well,
All
congratulations.
right, congratulations.
I'm next.
Oh, yeah, Linda.
That's right. Linda's next.
Yes, Gail Smith?
Good news and bad news.
Oh, dear. Oh, no.
You're moving?
No, I'm not pregnant.
Darn.
I do got a job, part-time,
Oh, my
which
goodness.
is what I wanted, so I could visit and spend more time with my grandbabies. And I guess you guys might consider it bad news. I am not moving. It's with a chiropractor and a physician combination office out in Oviedo. So I will be implementing a plethora of my skill set. So I'm looking forward to that.
Good job, Gail.
Well, go ahead, and then I'll give my announcement.
I have some good news and some good news.
Yay!
Medicare starts January 1st! And I'm going to use it up. You don't hurry up, you're not going to have it.
Getting there as fast as I can.
There was a person at the function the other night, and they were so moved by my evaluation, they offered me a job, and I'm going to be moving as well. This will be my last. I can't lie.
You had a good start, but you got to work on that follow-through.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You know, that's why your marriages haven't lasted.
Yeah, they were good at
You
that.
gotta learn how to lie.
Oh, no.
No.
All right, I'm looking at the slate next week, and there are, and understandably, it's the day before Thanksgiving, there are a lot of people gone. We essentially have 0 roles filled up. I see table topics over the top. So I'm game to do whatever. I suggested to Toni at the function the other night that we just get around and like share
Stories.
favorite stories because, man, you know, the one I got to tell never gets old. So are we going to do roles or not roles? Or are we going to just meet here? I mean,
Can we see a show of hands? Who's going to be here? I'm going to be here. Okay, I know a bunch of people wanted to be here. Okay, that's a good group. I don't know about having a regular agenda. I put the table topics up there, or you know, maybe we can do some. Julian, send me some table topics. You did a good job. You know, maybe we could all bring some table topics, like something that we're interested in asking the group, you know, to learn about, or bring a story. I'd be fine with that.
Bring some food.
Right, well,
Finger food.
finger food, sure. Yeah,
I won't
I'm
be
good with
here,
that.
so there won't be wine unless y'all bring it.
Yeah.
There's a bottle behind that,
Oh, okay,
that one basket.
okay.
Can I sign up for speaker though and be the only one so I can get best speaker? Because I really don't want to relinquish my title to Lockery just yet.
Oh, wait. Well, do you guys want to have a runoff?
All right, so that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
If you want to speak, does anybody want to speak? We should really.
I mean, I would like to
let
speak because
people
I was
speak.
rusty and it bugs me right now.
All right, and we will all evaluate you.
All
How
right.
about that? Would you like that? Is that okay? And then we'll also have the informal part.
Lucky I won't be here.
I don't see you on the unavailable list, Bob.
Yeah, sorry, you gotta be
Going
here.
out of town.
Nope, you didn't sign
And
up.
us too.
And not
I
to
didn't
sell you
raise
on
my
the,
hand, but to say who's gonna be here.
If there's time, you can move me up to speak next week.
I'll speak
Obviously,
too.
time.
all right, good.
Can't let him walk away with anything.
That means Lockery's the Toastmaster.
No, I mean, so you're gonna let him speak? Now, who's here? Linda, you're here, Linda?
Yep, I'll speak then.
Mark?
But now we need evaluators.
Yeah, I'll evaluate all of you.
Doubling up even those roles.
I'll evaluate you all.
You can evaluate yourself.
Micki, you're here. Gail, you're gone, right?
Yeah, we got
Okay.
Robin.
Next time I evaluate
Which
myself,
locker is gonna be here?
So there's
Mr.
5 of
Madden?
us so far.
What's that?
Five of us so far. Could, Micki, can you send?
I think James is supposed to be
Yeah,
back
I think
next
James
week.
is coming back. Can you, my internet's down. Can you send out something about, I'll talk with you later, about next week's meeting so we can get some more people.
And Michelle, I don't want to sell you on the job or put pressure on you, but we would really appreciate it if you did Sergeant at Arms, and I'm telling you, we've been doing it for the last 5 months with nobody, so you never have to feel bad if you couldn't be here. I mean, no one would ever think that for 1 second. It'd be a great help. Just wanted to throw that out there. All right, let's give out some awards. The Tim Chastain, and it was really a tough one today, but he was here setting up before everybody else, and he'd already worked a 16.5-hour day on 4.5 hours of sleep, and that is going to Mark Lowry. I think we need to have a meeting where everybody tries to butcher his name the worst, and we need to.
How would that be different from a normal meeting?
Our most improved Toastmaster award goes to the yellow man, Charles Bombalier. I tell you what, these next two were tough. Best table topics? Since she won't come to my gym and she's in the back of the room, she'll get her exercise that way. Toni G with great advice to me. And she really did give great advice on just being myself and authentic, and I'm telling you, man, this club is awesome as a platform to do that. And I'll be forever grateful for that. Best Evaluator Award this evening, with what I view this as the best evaluation I've ever personally seen. That's Stevens. I do wish he had been willing to go over on his time though, because I was getting some very good points.
You can always talk more.
And I guess it's no surprise this evening, due to a disqualification, my thorn is back out of my side and I get best speaker again. I'll see you all on the beaches of the world. Meeting adjourned.
Officer meeting? Officer meeting?
Officer